Got a list of 30 times he lied in that speech.
Just the 30.
Just 30. That's all they mentioned. You know it was more than that, but it's impossible to list every single lie he told in an hour-long speech. But here's the 30 big lies that were caught. Sending money to Ukraine. He claimed Republicans who oppose sending additional U.S. taxpayer dollars to Ukraine are doing so because they want America to walk away from our leadership in the world. Is that what they told you? Is that what they're saying? No, of course not. He's just spinning things. It's untrue. They want to put America first. That's what they want. They don't want him to walk away from America and commit us to all of these wars. He lied about, we talked about this, he lied about Trump's NATO remarks. He said that this was a quote, Vladimir Putin, do whatever the hell you want. Yeah, that's not what he was saying. Here's what he said. You didn't pay? You're delinquent? No, I would not protect you. Because he was asked, will you protect us if we're not paid up? You didn't pay? You're delinquent? No, I wouldn't protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want. You got to pay. You got to pay your bills. That was the context of it. On world security in Ukraine, he claimed the free world is at risk if the U.S. doesn't ship more American taxpayer dollars to Ukraine. Absolutely garbage. The January 6th demonstrations. He, of course, said it posed the gravest threat to American democracy since the Civil War. Okay. It was a riot where a few things got broken. People milled in parade. One of the demonstrators was killed, but nobody else. No one else was killed that day. And that lie continues. He falsely contended the Alabama Supreme Court shut down IVF treatments across the state of Alabama. That's not what the decision said. It ruled that embryos are people with inherent value, not legal property, and they've fixed any problem that would have created with the IVF industry. He claimed the life of Kate Cox, a Texas woman who left the Lone Star State to get an abortion, claimed her life was at risk. Okay. Susan Bain wrote, Cox's now deceased unborn baby was diagnosed with trisomy 18, a condition associated with severe developmental delays. These children can sometimes thrive into their early 20s. Cox was not at risk of dying from the diagnosis, however. Okay, but he made it like if she didn't have that abortion, she was dead for sure. COVID shots and cancer. He claimed COVID jabs are now being used to help beat cancer. What? Huh. 15 million new jobs. That continued lie. It's he obviously conflates the jobs recovery after the COVID shutdown with actual new jobs. They're not new. They just came back. The U.S. inflation rate. He claimed it's the lowest in the world. There's a lot of countries that don't have as high a rate as we do. Consumer confidence. Studies show consumer confidence is soaring. According to MarketWatch last month, though, the consumer confidence index fell. Okay. Drug prices. Ending the trend of Americans paying more for prescription drugs than anywhere else. That's false. Reuters recently reported new drugs released by pharmaceutical companies last year were at prices 35% higher than in 2022. He claims he beat Big Pharma. Well, what? He empowered pharmaceutical companies when he unlawfully attempted to mandate private businesses force their employees to receive the COVID shot. They're in bed with Big Pharma. They didn't beat them. They joined them. Student loans. He contended that he fixed student loan programs to reduce the burden of student debt for nearly 4 million Americans. That's not true. His illegal effort just transfers the responsibility of paying back these loans to individuals who never went to college or already paid back their loans. Decreasing the federal debt. It's amazing.
Oh, no, don't.
He claimed he cut the federal deficit by over $1 trillion and has been delivering real results in a fiscally responsible way. Both of those are false, obviously. National debt's risen by more than $6 trillion just since he took office. $6 trillion. And it goes up by another $100 trillion, as we've talked about, every 100 days. Corporations not paying their fair share. Really? Wealthy Americans pay the huge majority of taxes. 10% of Americans pay 90% of the tax bill. Trump's tax cuts, he falsely claimed they overwhelmingly benefit the very wealthy and biggest corporations. Data from the IRS, though, has shown on average all income brackets benefited substantially from the tax reform law, with the biggest beneficiaries being working and middle income filers, not the top 1%. I just lie after lie. The 17th lie, the national debt under Trump. He said that added more to the national debt than in any presidential term in American history. Even PolitiFact admitted that former President Barack Obama accumulated more debt than Trump. The Inflation Reduction Act, he said nobody earning less than $400,000 will pay an additional penny in federal taxes. Remember that claim over and over and over and over. However, estimates produced by the Joint Committee on Taxation predict that the Democrat bill does nothing to bring the economy out of stagnation and recession, but it will raise billions of dollars in taxes on Americans making less than $400,000. He claimed there are 1,000 billionaires in the U.S. There's, 735. He slightly exaggerated. There's only 735 billionaires in America. And what do they pay in taxes? He claims the average federal tax rate for billionaires is 8.2%. Once again, even PolitiFact said that was false. They pay more than 20% on their income. And they pay a different kind of tax, too. It's really hard to compare because usually these people aren't getting salaries like you and I do. They're usually getting capital gains. And the capital gains tax is a second tax. It's an add-on tax. It's a tax on taxes. So that's why those are slightly lower than the income tax. The Ukraine border bill. He negotiated the Biden border boondoggle. He negotiated behind closed doors with Senate leadership, contained the toughest set of border security reforms we've ever seen. And will bring the border to order, he said. That statement, of course, is ludicrous and everybody knows it. The bill would have exasperated the ongoing situation, made it even worse than it already is. The book bans. He regurgitated the falsehood, the lie that conservatives are banning books. They're not. We've talked about that many times. Couldn't get Lincoln Riley's name, or Laken Riley's. He did get the Lincoln Riley name right. He does know the head coach at USC for their football team. He doesn't know the person who was a victim of an illegal alien. Biden misrepresented remarks given by Trump in response to a January Iowa school shooting, which left one dead, several injured. He said, as a Federalist reported, the shooter flirted with Democrat gender ideology. In his address, though, Biden claimed Trump told Iowans to get over it.
Yeah, we played that whole clip in its context, and that was completely misrepresented by Joe.
Just unbelievable. Second Amendment, this is lie number 26. Sorry, my voice seems to be going already, which is not a good sign. 15 minutes into the show.
Yeah.
The president falsely claimed that a ban on so-called assault weapons doesn't constitute a violation of the Second Amendment. An obvious lie there. He asserted, of course, that he taught the Second Amendment. He does this all the time. Where is that coming from? You didn't teach the Second Amendment for 12 years, for 2 years, for 1 minute. He's never taught this. He's never taught the Second Amendment or the Constitution. He's not a professor. Gaza deaths. He said most of the people killed in Gaza are not Hamas, including thousands of innocent women and children. We suspect that's a really strong lie because it comes from Hamas. And he went ahead and regurgitated that talking point for Hamas. So you're welcome, Hamas. America's prospects challenging China. He claimed the U.S. is in a stronger position to win the competition against China or anyone else for that matter because of him. Really? Does anybody believe that's true? The idea of America. He ludicrously contended that America has never lived up to the idea that we're all created equal. It's just garbage. I mean, on and on and on. So there's 30 that just sprang immediately.